Anken Ma'at, Anken Ma'at. Hoping that you are able to see that you're in with us. I see some of you have come in a little earlier and we're already greeting. Anken Ma'at to Willanette, Luis, Efu Ma'ati, Robinson, Obojewa, Osset. Still residing between Los Angeles, Atlanta, and Baltimore. That is a lot. Abajua. Abajua? Is that how you say it where you are? Okay. Anken Ma'at, Anken Ma'at. Good to see you. Good to see you. Haven't seen you in a little bit. Anken Ma'at to you all. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You may remember that when we begin Kemetic Ascension, we ask for you to tell us where in the world you are and how long you've been part of Kemetic Ascension. For those of you who are joining us, I know you're just coming in. Remember, that is how we usually begin. I'm so pleased that you're here with us. Let me make sure we're going live on Instagram. By the way, if you're joining us on Instagram, please keep in mind that for whatever reason, I don't have a good answer to this yet. Instagram and StreamYard only are able to interact for 1 hour. So if you are joining us on Instagram, please be sure. We would love for you at the end of the time that Instagram will continue to post us on our page. We would love for you to go ahead and join us on YouTube or on Facebook. That would be amazing. Anken Ma'at to you all. Let me begin by saying a wonderful happy Father's Day. We will be talking about Father's Day today, and really from the Kemetic tradition. It's really important for us to think about what the deeper meaning of Father's Day is, particularly in this world that seeks to undermine fatherhood and motherhood for people of African descent. We know that this is a major challenge. We know that this is an issue. And so I want to say that I'm so pleased to have you here to discuss this important topic and really to hopefully give it some larger context, because as practitioners of African spirituality, if you are anything like me, it might feel sometimes that you are not exactly in the same place that everyone else around you is. You're at the supermarket, you're at the barbershop, you're at the beauty parlor, you're at the fish store, wherever you are, you're going to see people talk about those things that are going on in their environment. And your perspective is probably not the same. I know that's how my world occurs regularly. That's just how it is. And so it is sometimes helpful for us to be able to explain, to be able to provide a context coming from an African spiritual paradigm for individuals who are operating in the world that we are operating in. Very often, if you do that, you'll be surprised there are people in your environment that actually will feel like they've been given permission to truly hear, to truly adhere to the echo of our ancient African foreparents as they hear it in their environment. We develop this ability to sort of to filter out those echoes, the sound of our ancestors. We develop that ability because we live in a society that has been so negative to all things African. And let's really be clear, if you're in the United States, if you're in the West, if you're in so many parts of the world, what has actually happened is the destruction, the annihilation, the torture of people of African descent. So clearly, acknowledging the importance of the African tradition becomes a major sore point. Everyone in this society has to pretend that African societies, African people, African tradition, African spirituality was not the mainstay of all of humanity for hundreds of thousands of years. Because if they do that, then they must account for what has been done to people of African descent. And so they'd rather pretend that it either is non existent, minor, or that those people who hear the call of their African ancestors must be crazy in some way. That's often what happens. And so I know that if you're anything like me, as you go through your day, you feel those impedences as well. It's helpful for us to provide context, not just me, not just Ntepi, not just Jabari, all of us, because you are practitioners as well. Let me go ahead and see who has joined us so far. It looks like we have, I've already greeted Sister, and I always say her name the way that I believe that those that I'm aware of in Ghana would say it, but I might be doing it in injustice. Abba Jua is, I've already greeted her. Welcome and greetings. I'm hoping that you are feeling comfortable as you are really traveling really along a very long distance in order to assist your family. Let me say Ankan Ma'at to you, because I know that that's not easy. Queen Emma Grace from PA is tuning in. Ankan Ma'at to you. We see one of our full members, Angenicon Malo, coming to us from Florida, from Naples, Florida. Ankan Ma'at to you. It's good to see you. I see Sinette, the Sister Willinette says that she's been part of Kemetic Ascension since 2021. Wonderful, wonderful. We have Trial Lok Nation. Is Trial Lok Nation? I hope I'm saying that correct. Happy Father's Day to all of you. Happy Father's Day. Seek Energy Within is greeting us with Ankan Ma'at from Colorado. Ankan Ma'at to you. Society Commentare is saying peace. Peace to you too. Tony Fly is saying peace to me and peace to the chat. Peace to you, dear brother. We see Sharal McAdam, Ankan Ma'at to you. Kimberly Blue saying Ankan Ma'at as well. And happy Father's Day to all those folks. And you know that Kimberly Blue, I believe you know, comes to us from the DMV area. Ankan Ma'at to you since March 2023. We see Anthony Jones, Hotep. Oh, Sanette Shurael from ATL. Cheryl McAdam. I knew that name was familiar. Ankan Ma'at to you. Shurael. Ankan Ma'at, one of our full members. Ankan Ma'at. I knew that name was familiar, but I could not remember what name I should remember it as. You know, in the Kemetic community, we got a whole bunch of names, right? It didn't just come from our community. That's how it was in the ancient world as well. So sometimes it can be a little confusing if you're not in the right frame. And I see peace and blessings from my dear brother Sekou Kella. Ankan Ma'at to you, coming to us from Canada, a powerful, powerful mind, having studied the works of our ancestors for so long, provides a really, really powerful context for our ancestors. I'm so pleased that you've come and you've joined us again, Brother Sekou. I see Senatan Amun Ra, one of our full members, a very active member who just last week hosted a reunion for one of our cohorts of people joining the Shrine of Ma'at. Ankan Ma'at to you, Senatan. Coming to us from the Windy City. It's wonderful that you're there. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Ankan Ma'at to Sinette Seshmeet. Ankan Ma'at to you from Bayonne, New Jersey. Ankan Ma'at, one of our full members. Ankan Ma'at to you, dear Sinette. I see Taseti coming to us about 2 years from Denver, Colorado. Ankan Ma'at to you. How are things going on the other side of the country? How are things going? Atan Amun Ra says, Happy Father's Day. We see Anthony Jones bringing us greetings from Houston, Texas. Wonderful. We see Sinet Chen Ka, who is here as Olivia B. McGraw. That's her government name. And she's saying Ankan Ma'at to all of the fathers, sending myrrh, appreciation, support. You matter and are not obsolete. Powerful words, Sinet Chen Ka, powerful words. We see J. Suis d'Origine Afrique. It's Ashe. And here's a question. If we were once on top, so with so much knowledge, how we didn't know that a lesser people would take over if we taught them our sciences. I think that, you know what the maxim is, hindsight is 2020. Have you ever heard that phrase? I honestly believe that there were people of African descent. There were those people who were the priests and the learned people that were very reticent to teach those people from outside. But in actuality, remember, the greatest mythos of Asar is that he brought civilization to Kemet and then went abroad to give civilization to the rest of the world. I would not be surprised if that fundamental orientation based on our great spiritual myth might have actually even been a reason why we were so giving and welcoming to people from outside of our tradition. And I think that that may well be one of the challenges. But I know that sometimes we think, well, how did we have this great fall? I always remind people as a historian that all civilizations fall, right? Nothing lasts forever. Even all good things must come to an end. And we recognize that in some ways we may feel that we need to mourn it, but we also need to remember that 3,000 years plus of excellence is nothing to mourn. And that we know that those people from the dusky continent of Africa are on an upswing again. We hopefully will be part of the resurgence of Africa and its traditions all over the world. Hopefully that was a short answer to a short question. I'm not good at short answers. I hope that works. Ankan Ma'at to Heru Jehuti Pata Umika Temra. Ankan Ma'at, one of our full members coming to us from Oakland. Happy Father's Day to all of you as well. Ankan Ma'at to you. We see Von Eric, where's your faith, saying blessings and Ankan Ma'at abet all. Wonderful. Dwa, dwa, dwa. Goddess Storm Star coming to us from Flint, Michigan, saying happy Father's Day. Dwa, dwa, dwa. When will there be another priest initiation? Woo! That is a question that is always challenging. You know that as we did the priesthood training for the Wenwet, that was a 3-year process. It was really, really challenging for them and for me. You can imagine that I managed the initiation, the training for the priest virtually on my own. And it was really, really, it's a lot of work for 3 years. It was worth it. And it must be worth it to bring other higher level practitioners into our tradition so they can assist in cultivating and galvanizing our community. But it really takes a lot of work. Having said that, hopefully we will start one soon. I'd always said that we would start again in December of 2024. I'm not sure if that will actually happen, but expect that within the next few months, you'll hear about when we're planning to do that. Before you hear that, you're going to hear, and I know that you are already a full member of the Shrine, but recognize that there are those of you who probably believe that you would like to actually join the Shrine of Ma'at, and recognize that for those people who are going to become priests, we would prefer that you be actually initiated into the shrine or into a like shrine before you do that. So for those of you who think that's interesting and you're not a member of the shrine, know that it would probably be best for you to go through our 14-week initiation before doing that. And that is important as well. So please recognize that. You're going to hear about initiation probably within the next month. You'll hear about us receiving applications, because I'm looking to actually do initiation sometime in the fall. We usually do it sort of in the beginning of the year, but we have not had an initiation for 2024. So we're going to definitely talk about that as well. Okay. Ankin Ma'at to Ra Moses, Kemet forever. Ankin Ma'at to you. We see Sen Jason coming in. Sorry you're late. We are just getting started, Sen Jason, one of our full members, a really active member. I wonder if you and Senatan have recovered from the reunion that you held yet. Dwa, for all the work that you all did together at your wonderful gathering. Initiation you or have for the priesthood, do you go off astrology, see if we were born with energy to be priests? No, I do not believe that your astrological sign would dictate whether you're going to be a priest or not. We need people who are going to be members of the priesthood of the Wenwet that are from all different walks of life. So we would not actually I don't believe that the time that you came to the earth should dictate whether you are a priest, because in ancient Kemet, there were priests that had so many different roles. So please, regardless of where you are, we would probably allow you, if you were in divine balance, if you are trying your best to actually uphold the dictates of Ma'at, if you were going to be an active member of our community, all of those things are things that we would consider. But expect that you'll see an application shortly, okay? By the way, if you want to know what we're looking for, I'm sure the Shrine of Ma'at webpage still has the application that was used for our last round of priests that completed their process. You can look at that and get a sense of what we're looking for. Are there any shrines in Chicago? We don't have a shrine in Chicago, but we do have a very active member who is in Chicago, Sen Atan. And so definitely you can connect with him. I see him putting his information in there just as I'm actually saying it. You can definitely connect with him. He's a really good brother and will and extremely knowledgeable and will be able to assist where you are. Ankin Ma'at to Bonetta Sutton. I don't know if I've seen your name recently, Ankin Ma'at, unless I've missed it or I'm forgetting, which could easily happen today, even though I've already had my coffee. Ankin Ma'at, it's good to see you. Ankin Ma'at to Niambi, Ankin Ma'at to, I think that's all of it. You sent me an email on the Shrine website. I have not seen it, but that doesn't mean that we didn't receive it. I'll take a look for it a little bit later, okay, to see if there's something specifically that you're requesting. But definitely, as you are a full member, you probably also have my cell phone. It might be better for you to text me as well. You would get directly to me, even though I have been extremely busy and going through a little challenging time. For those of you who are full members of the Shrine, you know what I'm talking about. I am feeling renewed this spring, and the Shrine is about to get very active again. And so that is what you'll see in the coming months. So please know that if there are things that you'd like to do, particularly those of you who are full members, please let's talk about it, because we have to do more. Having that reunion last week was amazing. And that was completely done by members of one of our initiatory groups. You should be looking to have gatherings of your initiatory group wherever you are. It would be wonderful. But also know that we'll be talking about when we'll next have our communal gathering for everyone. The more gatherings, the better, because doing this entirely online doesn't necessarily meet with all of the challenges you may have. So Ankin Ma'at to you, and I'm hoping that you will all do that as well. Ankin Ma'at to Lions Time Baby 5, Ankin Ma'at to you. And I see Sanette Niambi is saying Happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day, everyone. I'm also seeing Bonetta Sutton is saying that. Adrienne Marie Ma'at, Ankin Ma'at to you. I don't think I've seen you recently. Ankin Ma'at to you. It's wonderful that you're there, a full member of the Shrine of Ma'at. We see Amun Montu in Florida, born in Chicago. Hetepu to you. Hetepu to you. You would like that COVID is over? Yes, I know. It really is time for us to have more gatherings. Absolutely. So let's move forward today. You can see that we have fewer people here today, and there's a reason. I'm sure it's because so many people who usually join are looking to spend time with their fathers today. And so we're going to move forward. And I see that our special guest, the Schaefers, are here. Anken Ma'at to you. I'm going to bring them in a moment. And they have been really gracious enough to say that they would love to do the opening of the way and Hesse for us. Now, you know that we have been saying the names of the Schaefers every single Kemetic Ascension, every single gathering. Because if you have heard the Shrine of Ma'at's album, you would think that we have some sort of major recording studio with dozens of workers. And I mean, just the quality of that work makes you think that we're larger than we are. Why were we able to do that? Because the Schaefers are so talented. They were able to sing and bring all of the instruments together. And also they were able to even write some of their own Hesse as well. They did such an amazing job, that wonderfully talented couple. And so they have offered to join us today. And I'm so honored that they're here with us. Anken Ma'at to them. I'm going to bring them on. Anken Ma'at to also Onuris Benu Montura and Peya Israel from Portland, Oregon. Anken Ma'at to you all. How about, let's see. I'm not sure if the Schaefers can still hear my voice. By the way, you should know that they're coming to us, I believe, still from Kemet. You know that this is a couple that was actually coming out of Texas. They moved to Ghana, and they have been in Kemet for some time. I think that those folks in modern day Egypt recognize their amazing musical mastery. And so they essentially asked them to come there to share their musical talents regularly. And I don't think they've been back to Ghana since. I don't think they have, because they have been so sought after there. And so that is what happened. So they're coming to us, I believe, from Kemet. I see you. I'm going to add them now. Anken Ma'at, Anken Ma'at, Anken Ma'at to you. It is wonderful to see you. Can you all see them? You're seeing Sen Charles and Sinette Kenya. They are an amazing couple, full members of the shrine, talented as talented could be. It's wonderful to see both of you.
Oh, thank you for having us, man. It's good to actually see your face, and it's good to be a part of class.
Yes, yes, yes.
You're live with everybody.
Can you tell us where you are and how's it going over there? I mentioned you a lot in Kemetic Ascension.
Well, right now we're in a space right outside of Cairo. It's called Hurghada.
Yes.
Right outside of Cairo. It's called Hurghada, and we've been here for about 2 years now. And like you said, they have us working on a contract, so we're doing the good music from America. It's not many artists over here like us who know how to present the music in a professional manner. And so when they got a load of us, they actually felt like they needed to continue re-signing us, because we were kind of to them like some diamonds in the rough that really just has really helped excel their business in a major way.
Now, I know that you all know what they're saying, but as someone who goes to modern day Egypt every year, I don't even think you understand what they're saying, because I have been sitting on a cruise or in a beautiful dining establishment, and the band comes and they're all fitted out with all these instruments, and then they start singing something, and halfway through the song you say, wait a minute, is that a song? Is that supposed to be the Jackson 5? Or wait a minute, is that Janet Jackson? You didn't even recognize the song for half the song.
Yes, this is true. This is how it is. This is how it is here. So that's why they kind of really fell in love with us.
Oh yeah, I can only imagine. I can only imagine how that works.
We actually kind of showed them how we do it back at home.
Yes.
And they had never had that type of serving here. Right. So It's been a
Yes.
blessing. It's been a blessing from the Neteru.
Listen, African Americans have been some of the most influential people in the world, right? I mean, especially
Yes,
in
we
the
are.
area of music. So once you come forward with all of your talent, they're going to eat you up. I'm telling you, they're
Yes,
not going to
yes,
let you go. Now, I don't think I've ever been to Hurghada.
oh
Hurghada
man.
is where many people go for vacation, right? It's like a
Yes,
resort area.
it's on the
Shoreline.
shoreline. Uh-huh. Like
Woo!
5 hours. It's like 5 hours outside of Cairo.
An hour.
Yeah.
It's an hour flight and 5 hour drive.
How was and I'm assuming your accommodations are wonderful. It's been good to be out there.
Yes,
Oh,
the
yeah.
accommodations are taken care of. We don't necessarily have to worry about anything, but making sure we're on stage and presenting what we said we would present. But outside of that,
Woo!
everything is taken care of. They treat us real well here, and it's really
Wow.
good, especially in our community. It's great for this relationship building because we're really building a great relationship with a lot of the locals that will really open up some doors for us on this land that we probably never even imagined we would have in today's time.
Dwa, you couldn't say something more powerful because in many ways, everyone in the world sees African Americans on television and movies, right? But
Mhm.
unfortunately, the depiction of us has not been a genuine or positive one. So to have interaction with us is very different, and so I'm sure that has been wonderful. Wow. Wow. So is this your permanent stop? Are you going to stay there permanently, or are you bouncing back to Ghana at some point?
I'm not sure about permanent,
Uh-huh.
but we like to make sure we can spread out, just like we are certain we can go back to Ghana anytime.
That's right.
The house there.
Uh-huh.
We have a flat here as well, so we plan on being able to still explore, but of course be able to come back if we need to.
Can you imagine this couple is just chilling and living it up on the continent, on the West Coast, on the Northeast Coast?
It's not
Listen,
necessarily chill. I know you say that. I know you say that a lot when you're introducing us, but it's not necessarily a chill because it's a lot of work here in Hurghada.
I'm sure it's a whole lot of work that y'all are doing.
Yeah.
But I mean,
And
imagine you can live, is what I'm saying. You can live and
Oh,
thrive
yeah.
on the continent. This is
Yeah.
for many
Yeah, that's
people,
the
we don't
best.
necessarily think of that, right?
Yeah. And that's what we want more people to actually be open to.
Yes.
Because what we've learned here, especially here in Hurghada, Cairo is a little different because it's a little probably more politics in Cairo that goes along with living there, especially
right.
being a part of our community.
Yes.
But a part of our community here in Hurghada, you have a little more backdoorism, if you understand what I'm saying. Like
Mhm.
a little different here in Hurghada than it is in Cairo.
That's right. And I'm assuming it's a lot more international as well because so many people are
Yes,
coming.
you have a lot of tourists here from Germany to France to the UK
Yes.
to Switzerland. Everybody comes here. Russia, Ukraine.
Wow.
We have a lot of those people here who visit here frequently.
Wow. Well, that is amazing. And all I can say is that we are just calling to the Neteru and to the ancestors to give you prosperity, to give you health, to give you safety in your journeys. We know your we know your hearts, and we know the work you're doing. We just want to make sure that all of your steps are made light during the time that you are abroad and doing the things that you are doing. Really. I mean, they're just, and folks, if you've not heard their wonderful mastery, then you're not streaming the album. When you listen to the album, I'm telling you, you're going to think it's more than just those two people on the screen that mastered them. They are so talented. So I'm sure that virtually anyone in the world that gets a wind of what they're able to do would actually want to have them amongst them all the time. It just, in terms of financial sense, it just makes sense to have folks that can do so much and can be so talented come forward and do that. So wonderful. It's never that you've been able to do that.
All right.
Well, you said that you would lead us in the opening away and in Hesse. So please, for those of you who are watching, remember, this is not theater. Please stand.
Oh, he's standing up. Get ready to do that.
Okay. Can we hear?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, and in my purse. So we can go ahead and do the opening. So if you will stand in the pose of adoration.
Okay.
Okay, he's grabbing the charger so we can be good.
I'll tell you, I don't want to trip out.
Get settled. Yeah, you don't want to go blank in the middle of it, right?
All right, here we go.
Oh, they hung up by mistake. They'll be back in a second. While they're coming back in, please make sure that you're standing. Remember, this isn't theater, right? This is not theater. We are actually doing this together. This ritual was put into its current configuration by our elder, Baba Heru Ankh Ra Samad Sepata. This makes it so important. And so you should really, really be doing it with us, right? Make sure you're doing this with us. This isn't theater. So stand in the position of adoration and go ahead and stand with your left foot forward, your right hand's exposed, and then your both of your hands exposed, and then have your left hand a bit further forward than your right hand a bit further back, and a little bit lower than your left hand, right? Don't break your wrist. I see people do this. Make sure that if you are turning your wrist, that they're just turned so slightly. This is the way that we see the position actually illustrated on temple walls and on papyri for thousands of years. So please go ahead.
All right, we'll start by chanting the light words of life. Here we go.
Anetrak and Bedhead.
Anetrak and
Bedhead.
Bedhead. Anetrak Hapi.
Anetrak Hapi.
Anetrak Hapi.
12 winter.
12 winter.
Turn to the right. Anetrak Serket.
Anetrak Serket. Anetrak Kepsanu.
Anetrak Kepsanu. Kepsanu. 12 winter. Anetrak Os.
Anetrak Os.
Nuke Os.
Nuke Omset.
Anetrak
Nuke Omset. 12 winter.
Anetrak Neat.
Anetrak Neat. Nuke Neat. Anetrak Guamotef.
Anetrak Guamotef. Nuke Guamotef.
12 winter.
Anetrak Newt.
Anetrak Newt.
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 Anetrak Geb. Nuke Geb.
Nuke Geb. 12 winter.
Anetrak Shoe.
Anetrak Shoe. Shoe.
Shoe. Nuke Shoe.
Nuke Shoe.
Nuke Shoe.
Anetrak Tef Newt.
Anetrak Tef Newt. Tef Newt.
Tef Newt. Nuke Tef
Newt. 12 winter.
Anetrak Paut in Teru.
Anetrak Paut in Teru. Nuke and Boo. Anetrak and Boo in Teru. Nuke and Boo in Teru. 12 winter. Dwa winter. Dwa, dwa, dwa. Dwa for leading us so ably. Dwa, dwa, dwa. For leading us in the opening of the way. That divine ritual ceremony that reminds us of just how powerful we are. Reminds us of the importance of recognizing who we are and what we are made of, because doing that helps you get through your day, get through all of the challenges that you may deal with in a current in your day. And so we always say, do the opening of the way, do the opening of the way, because the opening of the way is that ceremony that will help you get through all of the trials and tribulations that you will face as you remember that you are a divine individual imbued with infinite power. So please do the opening of the day whenever you do anything important. And remember, at the very least, at the beginning of your day, when you're about to do your work, this is when you should do the opening of the way. So we are so honored to also have the Schaefers here for Hesse. They have done an incredible job in Hesse. And so can I ask, what Hesse did you have cooked up for us today?
Well, the Iau Asar Hesse. We thought that would be befitting for Father's Day.
Yes.
The topic of today.
Yeah, we decided on the Iau Hesse because we are representing Asar. All the fathers out there, we are representing that renewing, that rejuvenation. Everything that Asar stood for, bringing back, bringing together unity. Not only was he here in Kemet, but he was also international with bringing us together in the community of our higher consciousness. So we like the Iau Asar was the Iau Hesse is something that we can all gather around and sing together, because it just it allows us to recognize Asar in his divinity. It allows us to recognize even Aset being around and in Behet being around to help raise him and give him that type of energy that he needs to come out and continue being the king or the Nisut or the ruler that he was for our community in those times.
Dwa, dwa, dwa. Well put. Well put. Well put. So please lead us in the Asar Hesse.
So,
all right. So this was, we did not write this one. Yours truly, Jabari.
Yes. With assistance from Anika, yes. Who helped me with the pronouns and things like that. Yes.
So the lyrics are Iau, 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 Asar, Neferu, E, Sa'a, Neteru. Okay.
A chant, Asar, 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 Ra, Ra, Asar, 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 Ra, Ra. Yeah.
To the top. One more time. Still going.
You still going?
Looks like we were kicked out.
Honking my aunt, honking my aunt. I don't know what just happened. My screen just went down. Did you see the Schaefers? Did they go down at the same time? Is that what just happened? Can you hear me? I hope you can hear me clearly. You waited for me. Good. Oh, Dwa. I'm so glad that so many of you stayed. I think pretty much everyone stayed because it looks like it's the same number of people. I'm not sure what happened. I have no idea what happened, but everything went black. They were jamming. Sometimes they went down a little later after I did. What? I wonder if this is a StreamYard issue. Maybe StreamYard blinked. I don't know what happened. I'm not sure why we didn't get in. And I don't know why they were. Oh yeah, they were jamming. They were jamming. Listen, Sinette Kenya's voice and Sen Charles drumming. Listen, man. What happened to them? Look, let's see if they're still here someplace. I'm gonna try to reach them. Give me a moment. Let me see if I can still get them. Of course, they are coming to us all the way from Kemet, right? Oh, they did finish the Hesse. Okay, good. They finished the Hesse. Okay. And oh, I see that they're there in the chat. Can I say dua to you? I'm so glad that you were able to finish the Hesse. Not happy that I wasn't able to be there for the rest of it. I was just, listen, I was jamming. I was, and then everything went black. What happened? It's really, really unusual. That's never happened before in all the years that we've done Kemetic Ascension. And let me say to you that it's also amazing that we were doing this all together, and then this blink occurred, and then I couldn't get back in. My laptop has still not come back on. I mean, I think it was my laptop that shut down. It's possible. Sometimes when you have that energy up in there, it just it just peaked. And so we went down for a moment. Let me first of all say, and the funny thing is it still says live 48, 46, 47. So anyway, that means that there's just there's some black energy that, some black space that came into our feed. But I'm glad that you're here, and dua to the Schaefers for doing such an amazing job. I don't know why I popped out, but I'm back. I'm hoping that you weren't there way too long, just sitting and waiting. But once again, please send the Schaefers much myrrh. Send them much a love, just because they are who they are and because they come to us with such divine balance and such divine talent. The Neteru have certainly smiled upon them. And we know, they were saying, look, I know you saying we chilling, but it's been a lot of hard work. I can only imagine how much work they're doing there. And if anyone in that entire country of modern Egypt recognizes what they have, they're going to try to work them more. Because I'm telling you, as someone who goes back and forth to Kemet every year, we don't usually see performers, artists on the order of Sen Charles and Sinette Kenya. They just really are that talented. So it does not surprise me in the least that they do not want to let them go, and that they're going to continue to ask them to be there, continue to pay them to be there. Let's just hope that they are paying them properly. Did you hear what we said? Let's hope that we are paying them properly. And let me also say, since I know that they're still in the chat, there's a large difference in terms of the Egyptian pound and the dollar from the United States. For what they have done, please, I'm asking for Sinette Kenya and Sen Charles to put their Cash App or their PayPal in the chat. Please make sure that you are supporting them as well. It can't be easy to decide to leave your home in Texas. I believe they're both from Texas. I know that they were together in Texas. I remember talking to them about how they started by selling stuff and preparing for that journey to Ghana, but then also to decide that you're going to go to the other side of the continent and live life there. That cannot be easy. Please bless them with abundance so that they are able to continue to do the work. Okay, please bless them with abundance. Please, Schaefer's, please put your Cash App or whatever, however you can receive digital currency in the chat right now, so folks can help support you to continue to do the work, because it is so powerful, the work that you're doing. And we should make sure that when you are not only talented but committed, you know how many people are talented and not committed? You know how many people have been given all of these wonderful gifts and do nothing with them? For a large array of reasons. I don't want to make it seem like everyone who does that is simply doing something that is negative, that is based in Isfet. But I will say it is so much more difficult to find a couple that is talented and committed. And so I'm hoping that you all will be generous to them so they can continue to do the work wherever the Neteru chooses to take them. So let's talk for a little bit about Father's Day. I don't have my presentation with me because, and I wonder if I'm able to, I might actually be able to pull it up. Let's see. Maybe I can pull it up. And if I'm able to pull it up, what I'll be able to do is do it all from my phone. I don't think I've ever done that before, but I will give it a try. What I want to do is talk to you a little bit about Father's Day, a little bit about how we should view this day as practitioners of ancient African traditions. Because it is my belief that if you are able to, if you are coming to this discussion from an ancient African tradition, from a Kemetic tradition, what you actually will be doing is understanding it at a much different level. You'll be able to, you can hear, good. You'll actually be able to recognize that your African ancestors provided the necessary, how do I describe this? The necessary perspective for you to truly get into Father's Day. Let me first say to you that I believe I may actually, in the presentation I have all of the names. I may actually not remember all of the names without viewing the presentation, but I want you to recognize that while Father's Day and Mother's Day and many other celebrations are really a major part of the culture of the United States, I want you to recognize that these things occurred most recently. Most recently. In fact, I find this very interesting. Father's Day was not recognized as a major gathering, a major, we'll call it holiday for the lack of a better term in the United States, until 1972. 1972. That was the year I was born, by the way. No gasp, no gas. I'm not that old. But I want you to recognize that this country did not properly recognize mothers and fathers for many of the years it has been in existence. In fact, recognizing the mother and the father has been the lack of recognition of the mother and the father in many ways has been more emblematic of the United States, and perhaps even the problems with Western culture, than it has been in the short decades that it has been in existence. And I want you to know that the person who decided that they were going to bring Father's Day into the fore is really someone who recognized first that that Mother's Day was important. And you may remember that when we were talking about um, uh, um, Mother's Day didn't exist right away either, right? It was for such a long time that there was no Mother's Day until a woman named Anna Jarvis actually decided that she was going to focus on her own mother, and then she decides that what's going to happen is they're going to begin celebrating Mother's Day, and because of the excessive um, commercialization that occurs, they actually decide that they're not even pleased. Anna Jarvis decides that she is not going to continue with the day, and she tries to get rid of Father's Day for some time, Mother's Day for some time. She actually decides that she was going to get rid of Mother's Day, and she dies penniless in a sanitarium. Many years later, I hope you can hear me. Yes, I got in on my phone and I did not actually put it into airplane mode and switch things in because I was rushing in. So I won't speak that long because I don't want us to continue to get interrupted. But recognize that there's a black screen. Can you see me now? I hope you can see me now. Essentially, what happens is a woman named, I believe her name is Marie Sonora, actually decides that she, looking at the celebrations for Mother's Day, is going to start a celebration for her father. And I think that that is very interesting that she decides to do this. The first celebrations statewide were in 10, and I want to say they were in 1910, but it isn't until 1972 that Father's Day becomes a day, a celebrative day in the United States. But I want you to recognize that celebrations of fathers, and in fact, the divine father, the earliest celebrations we have recorded are those celebrations in ancient Kemet. That shouldn't be too much of a surprise. Similar to the celebrations for divine motherhood for us, there were celebrations for divine fatherhood for Asar. The concept of that masculine energy bringing forth the offspring was of critical importance. And we see that in ancient Kemet so long before we see it in the Western world. And we know that just in the story of Asar, we see challenges around being a father. And in fact, in the great mythos, we know that Asar, this important deity, this important character in this great mythos, he is killed almost immediately in the story that is told. And then we see Ast having to raise their child, Heru, on her own, and also trying to bring Asar back into existence. In some ways, we could say she has to put a black man back together after he's been cut into pieces. I'm not saying that those who put that story together, that started actually sharing this great mythos in ancient Kemet, believed or understood that the time that we are facing today would actually occur. But I do think that sometimes what happens is we're able to look at these great mythoses and we're able to recognize that there is a larger narrative that is also instructive, helpful, edifying for us in the modern day. And clearly, when we see a story of a great woman, a great divine character, having to actually raise a child on her own while trying to put her husband back together, this almost sounds like it is too much on the nose for what we've experienced here. We know that this white supremacist Western system actually has been extremely challenging for men of African descent, that in many ways, men have been the active target of the white supremacist system. And that doesn't mean that women have not been attacked, have not been undermined. We know all of that has occurred as well. But clearly, the violent edge of white supremacy has been more evident in the relationship that this nation has with Black men. I think about those men that we've heard of that have unfortunately lost their lives in recent years, and think about the fact that the most important thing to them were their children. Folks like Eric Garner, we think about the fact that he was trying to actually make money so he could support his children. It's a society that makes earning money and raising a family more difficult for men of African descent. We look at someone like George Floyd, and very clearly we can see that he was so in love with his daughter Gianna that there are even videos of him with Gianna on his shoulders as he speaks to how much his daughter is a part of his thinking, a part of his life. And we know that just a few short weeks for both of those men, apart from we initially see them, we recognize that their children are without them. And that is extremely painful. There's so many stories of Black men being undermined, being harmed, or even murdered, and not recognizing that those things affect a family and affect children. So, in many instances, the celebration of the Divine Mother, who has been almost entirely erased from the Western traditions, and the celebration of the Divine Father, as Black men have been mutilated, murdered, and undermined by this system, are of critical importance. In our community, we should be celebrating fathers and celebrating mothers more than virtually anyone else. And just think about how difficult men have had it in this nation, how difficult it has been to be an active member of your family in this society. With all of this, we should recognize that even though the earliest celebrations of Father's Day are in fact African, any celebration of fathers in our modern world should actually be something that even the practitioners of African spirituality should find themselves engaged in. I hope that you will spend time with your father today. Show them myrrh and show them care and show them all of the attention that they actually deserve. Now, some of you are probably thinking, but Brother Jabari, my father is no longer with us. My father died in 2020. In fact, it's been about 4 years since his passing, and I think about him every single day. I speak to him every single day. You should recognize that having a father that is an ancestor is not an impediment to maintaining a relationship with him. If you are a practitioner of African spirituality, you should recognize that this is a time to get up in your altar. Get up in your ancestral altar. Feed your father the foods that he loved. Handle those things that were important to him. My own father was an upholsterer. Today is a day to hold his hammer, his upholsterer's hammer, in my hand. This is a day to write your father a letter. This is a day to sing the songs that he sang. This is a day to sport the colors that he loved. Please recognize that if you are a practitioner of African spirituality, you recognize that a fundamental concept that has been brought into virtually all people around the world, the idea that death does not destroy us, is fundamentally an African artifice. It is important for us to recognize. It is important for us today to get up in our altars and speak to our fathers, and to celebrate not just your individual father, your personal father, but divine fatherhood and the fathers around you. Because we know that virtually on every other day of the year, fathers, particularly fathers of African descent, are maligned. So please today, celebrate your father and the fathers. Make sure that they feel myrrh. Make sure that they feel support. Make sure that they want for nothing today, because this is how we do. This is how Africans do. So as we resume, as we reconstruct our traditions, this tradition should be seen as one which is worthy of reconstruction. With that, I want to say to you, the divine force in me greets the divine force in you. Please get with your father today. Make sure that you are with him. Make sure that you are celebrating him, because he is worthy of it. I am not saying that he's perfect. No one is. But celebrate the fact that were it not for his ability to live and to persevere, you would not be able to draw breath today. So let me just give you a final affirmation. My laptop is down. I was going to read for you a section of the Per Tem Hebrew, and I don't have my physical section with me as I'm outside of my study and the shrine. But I just want to say to you, I am going to say that I'm asking the divine spirit of our ancestors. I'm asking for the Neteru to come with us, to visit us within this day, to remind us of the importance of the Father, to remind us of the importance of the work of those male ancestors whose blood, sweat, and tears allow us to thrive today. And I ask you, ancestors, to make those fathers appear to us. Show us their faces as we go to do their work, as we go to rectify their names. It is with that I say to you, Shem and Ma'at, go forth in divine balance. I will see you all soon. Hetepu.